Welcome back to this Let's Play, the original official campaign for Neverwinter Nights 2. I'm going to buy up a couple more spell scrolls just so I can keep on working on my know-it-all challenge. Before I do, though, you see my praise skill here, it's 10. If I cast Fox's Cunning, and then open it up again, I get +4 instead of the +2 I get from the Headband of Intellect. They don't stack. In the original Neverwinter Nights, stat bonuses would stack up to 12. Here, only the highest one applies. But it gives me essentially +1 to my praise skill, which gives me a very slight discount.
And what can I help you with?
On what I'm buying. And, you know, maybe it's not a big deal, but it's something. So I'm going to buy up a whole bunch of these scrolls. I could actually have Eleni scribe a bunch of these, but it's much cheaper to buy the scrolls than it is to scribe them. So I'm not going to waste the money. I'll buy a whole bunch of stuff and be right back. That gives me a whole bunch of new spells, which I can cast and sort of keep working on that know-it-all challenge, which, I don't know, I mean, the low levels I wasn't particularly concerned about. I've got a lot of time to get all that together. There's still one level 1 spell I don't have that's might be a little complicated to get. Worst case scenario with that one, I'll have the Ranger Companion, when I finally recruit him, get the Scribe Scroll feat, because the only cross-class listing for that particular spell is for Ranger. And there are not very many Ranger spells that are also Wizard spells, other than the just routine protection from elemental damage spells. But because my character is, well, let's just say not particularly effective as a diplomat, even though I do have some points in the Intimidate skill, I'm going to be casting Eagle's Splendor to try and, you know, get around at least some of that. It's not really a big deal, but hey, you know, it's something. Since Cat's Grace is not going to sort of play well with the Gnasher's Nimble Boots I've got, I'm also just going to hand out a couple of these other buffs, because, surprise, surprise, working for the Watch, we might get into some dangerous situations. Bear's Endurance, I don't really use that much. It's just not that you know, it's generally better to have, you know, kill them faster rather than to live longer. There are a couple other spells here. I'm just going to show them off. Improved Mage Armor, which gives only 2 more defense than the basic Mage Armor. Still, you know, it's more defense, and it's something. But and then Rage, it essentially lets your entire party be barbarians, which is going to be funny for an Well, I mean, it's just funny for any fight you use it in, but it's just a random thing to do. All right. Anyway, Marshal Cormac and Lieutenant Rowe here are, you know, talking about what happened at Fort Locke, and they pay you off. You can tell them you want to go to Black Lake, and they say no, and you can, you know, volunteer to work for the City Watch. And they give you a cloak, which you actually do have to wear, and in order for people to recognize you as a member of the Watch. I mean, I suppose being in uniform helps. It's not much of a uniform, but the first stop is a shop on the far side of the district. It's marked on the map. I'll just go directly there. Here we are at Hagen's shop. It's not Tom Hagen. That would have been too much fun, but... And you talk to the shop girl, who turns out to be his daughter, and apparently they've been intimidated by some protection racket, and they want the Watch to help them. Imagine that. And he sends his daughter out of harm's way. What a loving father. And conveniently, the muscle shows up just in time for us to cause problems for him. And we'll try to arrest them, and they resist arrest. A lot of people end up doing that, so I'm going to cast. Now, Cause Fear is one of these spells that, I don't know, it's not god-awful at really low levels, but let's just say it's not a spell you're going to use long-term, because it has a restriction on the hit dice of the enemies you cast it on. Oop, looks like I didn't have time to get off casting Shocking Grasp. Okay. Anyway, that's it for that, and hey, you know, they dropped some stuff. I'll take my 7 bullets. Ooh, very useful. I'll head back to the watch and meet you back there. And they mentioned the name Caleb, so the alternative to joining the Watch is working for the Thieves Guild, and Caleb is the Thieves Guild's contact, so this is kind of how they keep you from playing both sides. I suppose we could at least try to do some of Caleb's quests, but I really don't care that much. I don't know why I always side with the Watch. In the original game, siding with the Thieves allowed you to get the a history feat called Shadow Thief of Om, which was required for the prestige class of the same name, which was actually a fairly useful prestige class, but they don't require it anymore, so there's not really much point to it. Just, you know, going down my list of spells here, I'm also going to oops, I don't want to cast Owl's Wisdom on me. Eleni also has, I mean, I've only been really using her to summon things, but she also has some useful offensive spells, which I just generally don't make much use of because, well, using offensive magic requires you to rest a lot, and that's not really very sort of efficient, at least for an LP. Sometimes it's worthwhile. I mean, if you look at my Mask of the Betrayer LP, I do no shortage of spellcasting there. By the way, Kagan's shop was this one on the map over here. The map pen disappears when you complete that bit, and you can only go in there during that bit. There's Caleb is on the map down here, so let's go have a chat. Before I do, I'm gonna have a little bit of fun with just buffing up, because I know this is gonna end badly. Well, I mean, I'll cast Eagle Splendor and, you know, at least entertain the possibility that maybe I'll be able to intimidate him into backing down, but Weapon of Impact is sort of usually a cleric spell. You can use it to increase the critical threat range on a blunt weapon. Kelgar is the only one using a blunt weapon at this point, but just for amusement, I'm gonna cast Darkness. Just, you know, because it's funny. And Rage, too.
You ain't got a chance!
And we can try to arrest him. And we'll try and intimidate him. We get a point of good for trying to intimidate him, but we don't actually succeed, which isn't too surprising considering my intimidate skill is all of 6. Not really impressive. That's one of the problems with Shocking Grasp. One of the many problems with it. It's a touch range spell, and the range is a problem in itself, and that sometimes you miss. I'll still count it towards casting. It's such a useless spell that I don't expect I'll ever use it again, but I'm gonna check it off my list and call it good. Now, Darkness is not particularly important. Essentially, it gives everybody a 20% miss chance. You can pair it with Blind Sight and not have any penalties for your party members. Or in my case, I might do it with just Kelgar, since I don't really care that much about my other party members hitting. But it's not enough of a penalty to really get too excited about it. I might do that just for an excuse to actually use Blind Sight. But, you know, in general, neither of those spells are ones that you'll be using all that much. Blind Sight has some uses depending on the area, but... Alright, and we're back at the Watch, and I've cast a whole bunch of buffs, because when we head outside again, we're going to have to do some fighting, and I'm actually going to use this whole Blind Sight plus Darkness trick just as... Actually, I'm not even sure it's going to work, but it should. So when I cast Darkness, since I have Blind Sight up, it should not the concealment should not affect me. I'm hoping. There are some other things that I'll do just to get them out of... Well, I'll do them next episode. But we hand in the quest, You know, he tried to bribe us, and we say we tried to arrest him, but he resisted, and we'll have to go out on a sweep of the guards. And apparently there have been problems with corruption among the City Watch, and your objective partially here is to identify those corrupt people and deal with them. Actually, that's not our objective. Our objective is to recruit a new party member, and then, you know, I'll get back to the City Watch quest when I feel like it. So I will see you next time when we go off to recruit our newest party member, who at least will give us a warm body as I switch people out to avoid influence losses. See you then!